Welcome to my show. A guest here. His name is Hussein Hallak. Hussein, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Fine, thank you very much, Hussein. And thanks so much for the time and the opportunity, Hussein. Firstly, you are an author. You are also an entrepreneur. Can you please, Hussein, discuss more about yourself and how you are doing currently now, Hussein?
Sure. So I was born and raised Damascus, Syria, and I've always wanted, like, I went after what I wanted. So except being an astronaut, but I wanted to pursue art. So I started to draw. I write quite a bit as a way of expression. Poetry and literature is very big in Syria, and that's how you woo the girls. You write poetry to them. So and I went for electronic engineering because I wanted to see what a computer is. I was fascinated with technology. But by the time I graduated, I was already into business because I wanted to pay myself through college. So I was already doing business, and I continued doing business because it was just so much fun. And I had no idea what I was doing. I was just discovering, learning and applying, which is kind of like an ongoing experiment, and it worked for the first few businesses that I've done. So I continued on it. I didn't know what was waiting for me and the failures I would do, but I really enjoyed it. And that led me to where I am today. I'm an entrepreneur. I like to write. I'm an author. I write my own newsletter and recently just released my book, which is now number one on Amazon in three categories, which is excellent. So that's kind of a summary of how I got here, but of course you can dive into the details of whatever you want to talk about.
Yes, we never know, Mr. Ozen. In this life that we find ourselves, sometimes we do little things, but most of the time we realize that it's become something more bigger to the point that we might even be weary that what's actually going on. And that is the beauty of the life we find ourselves. And that is why I love the beauty of the poetry, the beauty of your book you've recently published. I think that is very inspiring, and heart is very powerful, which you've gotten from your own background. So that is why I would like to dive to the book you wrote, Mr. Hussein, The Dark Art of Life Mastery. Can you please, Mr.
Mm.
Hussein, discuss more on that book? And do you also have more book you are planning to write in the coming future, Hussein?
Mm. Yeah, for sure, I'll continue writing. So I write extensively. I write almost every day for my newsletter, and I have actually two books that I'm working on, and now I have the third. So the second book I'm working on is more of a novel about inspired by ancient Egyptian culture. So it's set in a dystopian kind of different world, uh, kind of like Dune in a way, but not quite. And it's inspired by the ancient Egyptian mythology because I love Egypt and I love everything about it. And me and my partner, we're writing a memoir. We actually finished the first draft. Our journey was a lot together. We've been together for over 30 years. We built several businesses together. We built a family together, and we've been in such a great relationship, ups and downs. But so we're writing a memoir. It was more of a memory of our history, and to give to our kids and say, here's our story, because they always ask us about, like, what's the story, how did you do this, and we always have good stories to tell. So we thought we would write that. And it's sometimes interesting to go down memory lane. And the third book that I'm thinking of writing is a follow-up for The Dark Art of Life Mastery. I'm thinking of The Dark Art of Business Mastery because many people ask me about business. The idea of writing this book was to leave people with something like a summary of the experiences that I've had, so that if there is something to learn from them, this would be my contribution, my gift, let's say, to the people after me, especially my kids and the people I love to mentor, entrepreneurs, business owners, and people who want to succeed in life. So I wanted, a lot of people ask me, well, specifically about business. So I may write that book. It's just an idea right now, but you're the first to know, actually. It's the first time I say it on any show.
Yes, definitely hope that you definitely bring more books like that when it comes to art, when it comes to inspiration. And I'm very glad that you actually brought this book out to actually tell your story, what ups and downs you faced, and how you've definitely overcome it through the power of heart. And that
Mm,
is very, very necessary in our time currently, so that every single person will know that definitely, no matter what I am passing through, no matter the little I am seeing currently, it could definitely be something that will definitely be more productive in the coming future. And that is why I will also
yeah.
like to dive to the point of living fearlessly. When it comes
Mm,
to someone living fearlessly, it sounds a huge, like it's just like a huge bump in the ear. Living fearlessly can be in any way. Some people live fearlessly to even get to the point that it's really more of dangerous, Mr. Hussein. So the idea of living fearlessly, Hussein, is powerful but often misunderstood in its own way. So, what do you think it means to live fearlessly in a grounded and practical way, Osen?
yeah, that's a great question. I think for me, uh, to give you an idea, I was a very kind of isolated kid. Like my parents raised me like according to the book, if you wish. So it was very, very ethical, very kind of wanted always did the right thing, and that put me into a lot of trouble because kids love to be mischievous. They like to mess around, and I used to not want to hurt anyone. I didn't know even how to say any cuss words. I think until I was like in 15 or 14, I didn't know what they meant even. So I was made fun a lot of. I was kind of bullied a lot while I was younger, and I always wondered about that because I always, to a certain extent, I felt of myself like I'm fearful, but I was never a coward in the sense that I would never run from a fight, even though I was going to lose. And I don't mean like physical fights. I mean like from anything. Like people will come bully me, but I won't like run away. I will hide. I will avoid. I will think strategically about roads I would take to avoid those gangs on the street or something like that. But if I come face to face with them, I will stand my ground, and I will just see what they can do. And sometimes they push me around. Sometimes I'll get punched in the face, but I won't budge. And the reason is I've always believed that you have a right to your life. You have a right to live life the way you choose to. And I think that I didn't think about it, of course, at the moment. Like I was very pretty young, and I just didn't move. I didn't know why. Maybe I was frozen, but it stayed with me. I don't like to. Like I would be I'm very malleable, very easygoing with people. But once there's something that has to do with something fundamentally important for life, like the rights of others, somebody else, especially if somebody else is being attacked or verbally or anything, I find myself compelled to be there for them and support them. And I find myself defending the things that we stand for, like the right for education, the right for a life, the right to voice, to say to be free to say what you want. So I find myself kind of attracted to this, and the right to choose in life, like to go after the things you love, like playing guitar, doing art, pursuing the things you want. And that kind of drive me. And that's what I mean by living fearlessly, is that to go after the things you truly believe in without feeling that there's something coming in the way, or if there's something coming in the way, that you don't fear overcoming it. Most of us are afraid to live, are afraid to even admit to ourselves how big our dreams are because we dream big. And that's, I think, when we talk about fearless living, for me, it means that never being afraid to pursue the wildest dreams. It doesn't matter if you're able to achieve them or not. I wanted to be a rock star when I was in my 20s, and I never became a rock star. However, in a small circle, I did join a rock band, several of them. I did sing, become a lead band singer, even though I was never thought of myself as having good voice. But it's a dream that I wanted, and when there's an opportunity, I step forward. What's the worst that can happen? I'll get kicked out of stage, but at least I got a chance to pursue it. And that is the biggest thing, is that taking a chance on oneself and our own dreams and our desires is what it means to live fearlessly. You don't have to stand up to bullies. You can run away if you want to. There's nothing wrong with that. It hurts when you do, but at least at the very least, stand up for your dreams, for the things that you want to achieve in life, and take a chance on yourself. That is what it means.
Hmm. I honestly want to thank you for those insights because we have to learn to stand our ground in the life we find ourselves today. If we could stand our ground, we could definitely conquer every kind of situations that come our way. And we have to also learn to understand that we need to take action, like we need to prove ourselves outside. And no matter how things we go, sometimes we could have some kind of setback, failures, ups and downs. It is enormous in life. And that is what you, Mr. Hussein, actually faced. And you actually got through it, and you actually become someone that could definitely be productive no matter how it is. As a person who is being bullied, I do not know how it is, honestly speaking, because I didn't experience it, but I do know that it's something that is very not easy as a person to actually experience. And that is life. We have to just know how we can face our fear. We have to know how we could direct ourselves to go through the
Mm,
right path in life so that we could be a person that will be more productive, and we could be a person that will definitely live a life of fulfillment, that will be happy. And actually, one will definitely be happy when the time comes. And that is life. Everything is time. And also, I would also like to dive to the most common mindset that you probably feel like it holds people back from pursuing the life they know they are capable of. What do you think are some of the most common mindsets that you think holds people back from pursuing the life they are capable of, Hussein?
that's a good question. I think the biggest thing that prevents us is the idea that we're not enough, or we're not capable. We don't have the skills. We don't have the tools. We don't have like that mindset of that we don't have what it takes. And I think the challenge with that is that the thought. So let's say you dream up something. You want to go after something, and then um, the moment you think about it, it's way too big. You don't have the skills, all of that. The thing that we do at the time is we stop ourselves. We say, well, who am I to do this? Who am I to go after this? I don't have the tools, the money, what are the skills, all of that. And and that is probably the riskiest thing and the most dangerous thing that we can do, which is stopping ourselves from pursuing something, because you don't know, since you haven't experienced it. You may look at somebody else's journey and you're looking at it uh, like kind of backwards. You're looking at it at the from the end and trying to extrapolate how they got there. You see, let's say, someone with extensive wealth, or somebody who's achieved so much in the, let's say they've written. One of my friends, in fact, like, let's, and it doesn't have to be somebody who's strange. Like, one of my friends write books like he's talking. His name is Joel. He's a great writer, award-winning writer. He wrote like 7 novels. Like, that's an enormous amount of writing. He writes all the time. It comes uh, from my side. I look at him as like, it comes so easy to you. But when you ask, and that's one of the key things, even if you don't want to pursue, one of the key things that you can take action is ask the person. And I asked him, and he said, no, it's actually a lot of work and a lot of difficult. I have to discipline myself, sit down, work through these the good and the bad. It's not always like I write and it comes out like a good novel. I have to write a lot of things that I throw away. So I realized, oh, okay, so even the person that I think that it comes easy for them, it's actually not that easy. And then you take a chance on yourself, and the first few runs they're gonna suck. That's the way it is. And that's the other thing. That's the other illusion. So the first illusion is that I have to have certain things before I start. That's the first kind of mistake that we say. The second one, or the first kind of misleading belief that we hold on to. The second misleading belief is that once I start, um, it should work. And we forget that everything when we start is filled with failure. In fact, the rate of failure is probably 90 to 100% that you're going to fail until you achieve what you want to achieve. If you look at a kid trying to walk, they fall most of the time rather than walking. If you look at anyone trying to play basketball, I mean, I would imagine even if you look to Michael Jordan, his first basketball shots when he was starting, maybe a kid, all out, even though he's Michael Jordan. Nobody's born a genius. They work their way towards it. Some people are definitely very talented and but they are a fraction. And even those, they have to work at it. So the second belief is that I have to work when I work at it, it works, and most of the time it doesn't. You have to work through failure, which is the third belief that that some people just got it, and in fact, that resilience and that power is built through what you say to yourself as you're failing. So if you, that's why they talk a lot about passion, pursuing your passion. And the reason is that if you listen to, I think Steve Jobs said something really nice about this, which is he said you have to have passion because otherwise you won't be able to deal with the suffering and the challenges that come in the way. If it wasn't suffering and challenges, you wouldn't need passion. Like I don't need passion to eat, you know, because it's food that is fulfilling me and it's nice. I don't need passion. I don't need to be passionate about the outcome after eating to go and eat because it's just something normal and doesn't require any effort from me other than sitting down and eating. But passion is required for the things that are very hard at the beginning, that is faced with failure, which is almost anything that is worth pursuing. And these are the three, I think, beliefs that we have to overcome. That we have to accept that we have to start from nothing, and we have to accept that there will be failure at the beginning, and we have to accept that it will take a lot to get, and we need to. That's why we need to go after something that we're passionate about to deal with the challenges coming in the way.
I think the way the world is programmed, it isn't programmed for it to be easy. And that is the issue I find in our time currently. During the 1990s, there is something that we call communion, community. But during our time now, there is a very huge distraction that could happen. I have to be honest with you, Hussein. The
Mm,
distraction that could happen. Probably maybe it's from ads, probably maybe it's from social media, probably maybe it's from what someone else is saying, probably maybe it's from what people are saying outside. Every single thing just jam packed. And we have to definitely understand that we have to first work on ourselves. Now, working on ourselves doesn't mean that we'll get what we want and everything is going to come easily, as you said. We will face failure, we will face setback,
mm,
we will face pain. It's normal. That is how the world is. We will face disappointment. Sometimes we won't feel like I am not even more interested in this anymore. And that is life. That is how the world has been programmed. But that is the time we need to keep ourselves back up to prove that we can continue to do what we can do. Because out of 1, 2, 3, 99, 100, we could definitely find that success in it. And by the time we find the success, then everything starts to flow. And that is the beauty. The beauty starts to come and the grace that one needs to start to follow in. So I'm very glad you brought this important insight, Hussein. This is a very, very important one, and I sincerely appreciate you for that. And also, I would like to ask, what separates people, honestly speaking, from those who actually stay in this sign of fear and those who
mm,
push through those fear? So, what do you think
mm.
separates people who push through this fear from those who stay and stuck in it, Hussein?
I think what I've seen is that I've worked with hundreds of people from all kind of backgrounds, and the I think the surprising thing is that first of all, success is how you define success. I think that what separates people. Some people define success by um, certain measurements, which is fine if that's how you define success, like how much money you get or how many cars you have or stuff like that. And that's fine if that works for you. But I think the people that are more successful, and more successful doesn't mean that they have more money. Uh, I mean, you can look at the richest person in the world. I don't think that he's having a good time right now. Uh, so you can see it all over the news. So it's not the measurement of money. It's more how do they define success for themselves, because we're different from each other, and success for me and what I enjoy is different than you. I just talked about food. We can have the same, we can enter into the same Michelin, rated restaurant, the best in the world, and eat the same dish. And you would think like, this is horrible. I can't believe we're paying, all this money for it. And I was like, this is the most best thing in the world. We are different, and the same experiences doesn't kind of land the same way for us. So if you define success your own way, what does it matter? And the question I always uh, encourage people to ask, what matters most to you? So if you get everything that you want, or if you are about to lose it, what would matter? What is the one thing that you want to hang on to? And I would bet for most people they don't want to hang on to their Ferrari or to their house or to the money. They would probably hang on to the people that matter most to them, to the people that add most value to their lives. And that is the biggest, I think, mistake that we've done in life, is that right now, if you look at the media or everything, success is defined by things you don't control. How much money you get, you don't control that, by the way. Like, you can seek money as much as you want, but if you look at, there are 3,000 billionaires on this earth, there are 8 billion people. This is a lucky draw. Like, this is not somebody worked day and night and got $1 billion. There's no such thing. Okay, with all due respect, nobody has worked their way into $1 billion. There's a lot of lucky breaks. Even I have billionaire friends, and I know people. There's a lot of lucky breaks along the way. They've obviously, everybody works hard, but that's how you get there, requires a lot of certain conditions in place to be able for you to achieve that. So if that's not the case, if not the money, what do you measure? Is that if you focus on the things that matter most to you, the things that bring you the most joy, the things that you can you have more influence on who you surround yourself. You have more influence on who you choose to be in your life, those choices, and making those choices in the moment, changing your life in the moment rather than waiting until one day you achieve that goal, one day you hit that, and then you'll be happy. These are the defining things that you see with people that are joyful, that are um, that are living a better life, I would say, and that are fun to be around, even rather than all the time talking to you about how many cars they have and how many. I mean, like, those are conversations I wouldn't enjoy having. So everybody's life is different. I understand that. Everybody goes after different things. The most important thing, are you defining success for you? And is that something that fulfills you? And is that something you can have access to in the moment, or are you waiting 10 years to achieve it? These are the things that I found that works very well.
I honestly want to sincerely thank you for this insight, Mr. Ozin, because if we check our hands, there is lines on our hand, right? It is not equal. And that is life.
Mm,
We are all different. And it is the way we use our life, and that is the way we will find it. The way we try our best to be more productive, I think is the way we are definitely going to see how things actually grow. And that is what we need to understand. We have to define success in our own way. Then, if we could define
mm,
success in our own way, we could definitely know how we could build on that. We don't need to look at those material things. Those things really, most of the time, does not really matter. We just need to check on the success within ourselves, see how we could build ourselves, and see if it comes fine. If it does not, no problem. That is life. I'm going to die
mhm,
one day. So what's the point? So we just have to check on how the success is. We have to know how we could build ourselves regarding that success and see how it will evolve. The disappointment will come, failure will come. Then when the time comes, we start to see those parts. It starts to come in, come in, come in, come in. And honestly speaking, the answer will always be within us because we have to sit down and think of how we could definitely define our own success. That is it. So thank you so much for those beautiful insights. And lastly, Mr. Hussein, from your book, The Dark Art of Life Mastery, what do you think is the message at the heart of the book that you think one that you think every listener should carry into their life, Hussein?
mm. The core message of the book is choice is possible in the moment right now. You have always a choice in life. You can choose even the things you can't change. So, for example, I kind of put life journey as if you're going through the ocean. The waves is coming at you. The waves are coming at you. The storms are coming at you. You can choose to be on that ship. You're on the ship, but when you choose to be on that ship, you take the helm. You take kind of the you become the captain. You step into that captain mentality, and you start making choices and start navigating your life. That's what's available to you. You can't control life. You can't change it. You can only master it, and that's the message. And through that, you can have joy in the moment. It's accessible for you, and that is what my wish is for everyone in the world.
Honestly speaking, we definitely hope that that joy continues to come back within us, because every single person wants to be happy. You and I, every single person wants to be happy. Nobody wants disappointment, but that is how the world is being programmed. That is how we see it. We just have to know how we can deal with it. And honestly speaking, every single person, as I said, we are not equal. Every single person knows how they deal with it equally with the way they do it. The way I deal with my probably pain and ups and down will probably be different with the way you do it. And that does not mean it doesn't, that is just how the world is. That is how we are. We just have to continue to hope for the best and see how things could be more better. And lastly, Mr. Hussein, there's a question I normally ask during the end of the show, Hussein. From the
Please.
forefathers, from the ancestors, there are a lot of beautiful things that do exist during our ancestral time that is missing in our time today. If there is anyone or anything you would like to bring back to our time today, Hussein, what do you think that thing would be, Hussein?
I think our respect for our environment. I think that is something that we're missing. We kind of think ourselves, we separated ourselves from the environment around us, and we think we're superior. That supremacy over the environment, thinking less of the animals, the trees, and the environment around us is leading us down a very, very risky path that is showing right now. More kind of adverse events, massive events that are costing us lives and destroying our planet, which we only have one that we think so wildly. And I'm okay with dreaming, but thinking that we're going to go to Mars in another 10 years and establish some sort of escape from Earth is insane, where we have a perfectly great planet. And that is, I think, also connects to the message of life. Life is already has so much to offer if we only are willing to make the choices. And the same thing, the planet has so much to offer. We just have to make better choices that we can live while maintaining a brilliant planet that we can enjoy. We can do that. And that is the thing. I think we need to take it more seriously. And the forefathers worked with the environment, adapted with it, capitalized on the main things and changed it. There's nothing wrong with changing and evolving, but towards the better, not towards just consumption and destruction. And that is, I think, something that we definitely desperately need from our forefathers.
We do know technology is great, but we do hope that nature too comes within this thing, because the world that we are now, we are really surrounded by things that are not connected to nature, things that are not
Mm-hmm.
connected to the breeze, to the flowers, to the to the beauty of nature. Nature is so beautiful. I think it gives that kind
So,
of calmness, that kind of peace within ourselves. You know, I think one should just imagine just going through a very silent surrounding and stay there for just 30 minutes without hearing it. You see the difference. The body changes. And that is what we
yes.
need. During our forefathers' time, they enjoyed it. And that is why during that time, there is more love. There is more of this kind of community. There's still this kind of caring with one another, showing this kind of empathy within one another, because they are connected to that calm, that kind of peace. We hope it comes back.
Mm-hmm.
We all need it in our time now, because I have to be honest with you, Hussein, there is a huge depression, anxiety. Everything is just going high. And we need this nature. Nature is the only way that could definitely calm us. We do know there's a lot of medication, therapies, or stuff like that, but nature is one of the most easiest way to get this kind of peace and focusing on ourselves. Social media will definitely bring every single thing, the picture, everything, but with ourselves, we could definitely become a better person. And I honestly, sincerely thank you, Mr. Ozen, for the time, for the opportunity, for speaking on your beautiful book, and on speaking on the truth of life, because this is what things that we definitely need to be aware of. Thank you so much, Hussein.
Thank you very much for having me. I enjoyed the conversation.
All right, Mr. Hussein. Have a wonderful day, Hussein. Bye bye.
Bye bye.